The Gospel talks about the end of the world, the apocalypse. I think nowadays we're a little bit used to different sorts of apocalyptic visions, probably from films more than anything else. Zombies wandering the streets with pickaxes, or barren wastelands and strange cars where there's just a few survivors fighting against each other. I wonder in the wars whether people in the Blitz or on the Somme or in battle felt like it was the end of the world for them in the midst of terrible destruction. And today, of course, we're remembering millions of men and women who gave their lives in the fight against evil, in the desire to protect their homeland, their families and freedom. Many from this country, but also many from all over Europe, millions in Poland and Russia and other countries too. Brave people. And they were fighting against evil. There's no question about it. It strikes me, as reading a little bit about it in the last few weeks, looking at images of pastors and bishops and clergy and Catholics and Protestants saluting Hitler. It's a telling thing, isn't it? That all these people going to church in the face of evil were prepared to salute it. Men and women, if we're honest, that are probably no difference from many other men and women in the world and even in churches. It's perhaps a reminder to us that we can't just be loyal to a country. We have to, first of all, be loyal to God. In all things, to be loyal to God, and that God should always come first. So what of today? Think about the Remembrance Day and the apocalypse. When I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, I'm sure I'm not the only one here who was, there was talk of the apocalypse then. It was to do with nuclear weapons. There was big protests against them because it seemed like for the first time it wouldn't be God that would end the world. We now knew that we could end the world. The phrase was called MAD, M-A-D, mutually assured destruction. Just required one person to start it, and other leaders to follow, and the apocalypse would come. But while that danger is still there, it seems to have been pushed back a bit at the moment. And at the end of these last 2 weeks, we've been reminded again of another danger, but subtle. The enemy within. A danger that is fired up by the desire to make as much money as possible, or to have as much freedom as we want, or to do whatever we want. And of course, the danger is the destruction of the whole planet. A real evil, and we're on the path of it. And the thing with this is that we can always think it's somebody else's responsibility, and it is the responsibility of governments and corporations and big businesses. But we have to fight it too, because so often they listen to us. We're their customers, aren't we? And also in the terms of the way that we live our lives. In the war, people got used to rations because it was part of that fight against evil. Many of you are parents or grandparents, or if you're not, you will be. And the fight that we're involved in today is a fight for us and for them. And we're also reminded, I think, by Pope Francis, that it's a spiritual fight. This is God's earth. He made it. He gave it to us. And when we protect it, we honor God. It's part of our duty as Christians to make sure that we in no way are a part of any sort of apocalyptic future. But the final thing I think is important too. Jesus says we don't know the day or the hour, but also we're people of hope. And our hope is in God and the goodness of God and the presence of God in others. For that reason, we can always bring hope to this movement because God is with us and we're with God.